Guys, we are in for a treat here tonight. We got our special guest speaker on here, and I just want to introduce you to a man that has made a profound impact of people around the world. You know, Mr. George Zalucki is an internationally renowned teacher. He's been teaching principles of human achievement for over 50 years. Within the ACN opportunity, he's built an organization of over 150,000 independent representatives around the world. He's a best-selling author who you're going to get a chance to purchase one of his books. I know some of you are already holding the books up because we literally look at this book on a monthly basis because of what he's done for so many other people. And just on a personal level, I can remember the day I got a chance to hear this man speak. And all I kept thinking to myself, if this guy signed up an ACN, it is good enough for me because of how great he is at speaking and teaching and coaching. So let us put our hands together. Let's give him a rock star welcome to none other than Mr. George Zalucki. And thank you so much, George, for being with us here tonight.
Well,
George, great to see you. You're looking awesome. So privileged to have you on here tonight, George. We got 450 plus people listening in to you. And, you know, George, I just want to start by number one, thanking you. And number two is I know there's a lot of people here that are probably wondering why ACN. And the day that I saw you speak on stage, I knew that the wisdom was deep and you had so many great insights. So I'd love for you to share with everybody why you said yes to ACN to begin with.
well, thank you. And you almost sent me back to the recording studio with all that hot music and people dancing and everything. I thought it was great. Well, I want to start by, first of all, asking the audience to please just relax. I'm going to ask you to do something that's nearly impossible for 95% of the people, and that is to intently listen. You will notice that you can be distracted 20 times tonight while I'm teaching. You could go on your phone, you could answer phone, you could shuffle papers, but here's what I want you to know. Maybe the most important thing I'm going to say to you is right when you get distracted. So I'm going to ask you to do the impossible and then judge it later. We are very, very poor listeners. God gave us what? 2 ears and 1 mouth. And I have learned what I've learned by sitting at the feet of people who knew more than me and were willing to teach me. So I'm nothing but an aggregate of the people who gave me, infused in me, the wisdom and the knowledge and the how-to. And so I want you to just kind of sit back and we'll have a little story here. First of all, I got to tell you, when I first, this is funny, you'll really appreciate it. The big star. Oh, when do you hear how I started? Okay. I went to a meeting. Oh, this was, oh God, I don't know, 50 years ago, about now. And the meeting was about a product that was vitamins, health products. They were supposed to be natural and biodegradable household cleaners and environmentally safe products. So that appealed to me because, you know, health and everything. And the blessing I had really, because I didn't know anything other than I needed some supplemental income. You don't make much money as a teacher. So I decided I'm going to go to this meeting. I was blessed because the first meeting I went to, there was a master teacher in front of the room teaching not how to make money, how to sell and understand the products. I was mystified by his teaching skill. I always wanted to be a better teacher. I'm watching a master teacher gently. He was maybe 65 years old. He had a French accent and he went through and explained the products. Well, I couldn't wait to get in front of him again. And I kept getting in front of him again. He became my mentor in how to present and all the technologies to do with the products and how they work. And the next thing you know, which I was totally unaware of, My wife gets a telephone call from San Francisco and says, you are awarded #1 retail salesperson in the entire company. #1. And for that, you are going to have a free vacation for yourself, your wife, and your 5 children to Hawaii. And when you get back, there will be a brand new Lincoln Town car for you to drive around in style. I nearly passed out. So, okay, I'm selling. But I studied. I wanted mastery. I didn't want to be anything other than the best. And I knew go before the best. Remember what my father's instruction was to me when I was overcoming polio and I was looking out that window. And he said, what are you doing, George? I said, Dad, I want to be a champion. Here I was, Forrest Gump, and I want to be a champion. And he looked at me and he said, son, I never had a chance to play much ball, but I'm going to tell you something. Whatever it is in life that you want to be good at, don't you ever ask somebody who's not good at it how to do it. I anchored. And through life, boy, was it self-revealing. Every time you listen to someone who don't know what they're doing, they can be persuasive, but they don't know what they're doing. Well, that's not the person to listen to. I want to see a performer perform. When I wanted to play basketball, all I did was study the best players, their moves. I couldn't do hardly any of them. But I worked and I worked and I worked. I used to dribble a basketball in the city in the snow and the sleet where the water was the sidewalks would get a little wet. And I would go home. I'd try to work on both hands so much that I'd go home and the tips of my fingers would be split and bleeding. I wanted to be a winner. So when I came to this company and I win this award, I go to a meeting, someone says, you got to come and hear this guy. He's a part-time guy. He works, he's a carpenter, and he works in the off season, and he's making $8,000 a month. I said, God, don't even print that much money. I said, good heavens, I got to go. Well, here's another lesson. I was telling my little group that's with me, I said, come on, we got to go. They said, where? I said, Lansing, Michigan. Oh, you got to be crazy. What, you're going to go there for what? I said, I got to hear this guy. Can you believe it? He's making $8,000 a month. Okay, nobody came with me. Are you listening? If there are any crybabies out there, don't cry in front of me. Get it done. So I go by myself. So I sit down and I hear this guy and I go, I can't believe it, $8,000 a month. So the way I operate, I'm going to get to him. I don't care if I have to wait all day. I'll wait. And finally got to him. And I said, I'd love to have a cup of coffee with you. He said, come on. He said, well, sit down. I said, $8,000 a month. Tell me how you do it. And he flipped it on me. He said, George, why don't you tell me how you're doing it? I couldn't wait to dump my product brilliance, my presentation skills. I was just spewing all this wonderful knowledge I had on the table. And he shook his head and he says, George, you're not in network marketing. You're never going to make any real money. I said, what? He said, obviously, listening to you, you're a great teacher. Why aren't you using those skills to build people? You need to build a network. The geometry of income is in the compensation plan. So you need to be sponsoring people, training people, teaching them what you know, and go from there. That was the turning point. That was a turning point for me, from just totally on the product, getting good at it, which it never left me, and then into knowing how to combine that with recruiting, sponsoring, building, and coaching people on how to win. And that was the biggest thing there was to go do, teaching people how to win. We are not taught how to win. We're taught to be average. We're taught to genuflect before the bosses of industry and wherever we work. We're not taught to be independent thinkers. Everybody else has defined us up until our adult years, and we just go on believing whatever everybody told us we were, what our limitations were. No. So years go by. I've had good companies, not so good companies. Some others fairly good, but I was always afraid of reputation. If I knew that something was wrong, that was unethical, I had great difficulty sticking around. I just couldn't bring people into something that I, at least to the best of my assessment ability, was able to say, this is a straight deal. Artie and I, were at this time, when we came to ACN, and I want to start talking about ACN now, we almost decided we were done with network marketing. That's, we've had some good ones early, but most of it was not stuff that really stood the test of time. And Larry Raskin, I'm going to give Larry Raskin credit. He kept calling Eloise and saying, you guys need to look at this. I don't know, 5 or 6 years of this? Can you believe it? Company's too young. We don't know. We were kind of beat up, and some of you listening may have been beat up too. But so I said, okay, we're going to go. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I was pretty good, highly trained on assessing personalities and people when they speak and what they're up to. When we went into ACN, ACN was headquartered in Detroit, Michigan, not where they are now. We met 4 young men, and I liked their youthful energy. They were enthusiastic. They were believable without pressing. They had passion. They had intention. They had energy to get it done. They had confidence, but they were humble in their confidence. And they were very supportive when I evaluated the training programs and the efforts they were making corporately to help all the people succeed. They had conferences, then they had regionals all around the country, and they had conference calls and training calls. They supported the people. On the product side, I got to tell you something. I was executive vice president of marketing and sales for a company out of Dallas, okay? And in that capacity, I was responsible for exploring, finding products. And the biggest problem we had was staying relevant. In network marketing, there's a lot of fluidity. The days of one product are pretty much gone unless you've been so far established for so many years, like maybe a Fuller Brush company or something like that, where you know that name and you know what they're going to give you. Well, here's the problem. The company is always seeking products and ideas that can, and hear closely, can fit into the market where the company can make some money and they have enough money to pay the compensation plan that we work through. That is not easy. Now, most people that are out there, when they start complaining, the company didn't give me this, they screwed up on that, they don't have a clue what they're talking about, let me tell you. Those guys sit there day and night trying to make it better for all of us. Making it better. Now, I ask a question. Why is it that today, the parade of stars you showed early on in this program, why is it that so many people are still excited going out there and doing the job? And they still got your belly achers back there that it ain't going to work. Kind of give me some Band-Aids for my wounds. And then I asked them, when's the last time you sponsored someone, Mr. Leader? No, I'll tell you what you do. You've fallen into the rut of sitting there and looking at your downline report, wondering who's doing what to fatten your check. You're not an example anymore. You're not excited anymore. You're not leading by example. And all leaders must lead by example, that they don't deserve followers. It's that simple. So you look at that. The company, when they pick a product, they have to analyze if there's enough margin in the product from what they have to pay for it to have some profit for the company and run it through the compensation plan. You're always going to have to see changes in the market. Now, uneducated people will react, negative, start talking in the coffee shops about how bad it is. These guys don't know what they're doing. You've heard it all if you've been around. Well, I'm going to tell you what, that's the best company. ACN is unquestionably the best network marketing company I have ever seen and been involved with. They have been honest. They have been sincere. They want to be supportive. Do they make mistakes? Do you? Do you occasionally make mistakes? Do you? Oh, you forgive yourself, but they're supposed to be infallible? They have a lot more to lose if they fail than you do. Trust me. These guys are passionate and they're morally correct. You hear that word? morally correct. They don't come from motives all for them and nothing left for us. It's all of us. And that is very, very appealing to me. So today, can you get yourself to the point that you have enough faith in the history of ups and downs with every company, not just ACN, to have the faith to know that if it isn't today, it'll be tomorrow. They will find another grand slam product and we're all going to go, ooh, isn't that great? And then we're going to go to work? You should be recruiting now because it's only going to get better. And you want to have those people in your organization well trained so that they know what it is that ACN stands for. Because to me, the most important thing is not the products. Products come, products go. Some products fly, some are duds. That's just the nature of the business. Some make a lot of money, some don't. But I can tell you one thing, if the character of the leaders in the corporate level lose their moral footing, then you don't want to be around. And I can guarantee you these guys are for real. So my advice to you is hang in there. I can't tell you how many times I had leaders come to me about their people quitting and their negativity and this and that. And I said, well, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing okay. Well, then that's a problem. I don't want you to do okay. I want you to stop complaining about what isn't here, work with what is here, and let's build it. Do you think everybody knows your problem? No, they don't. Put that enthusiastic face on and go out there and be proud of that company you belong to. Because I'm going to tell you something. I think I was close to 60 years old when I found ACN. So if you think it was a short course to get to something beautiful, it wasn't. I love that company. They stand for something, and God bless them. Amen. You got something else you want me to talk about?
Hey, George, Zoom technology. I mean, you traveled around the world, and for those people that don't know you, you're not the shortest guy on the plane. And I know you traveling and doing what you've done. I mean, for people that are new, we've got, new people on here. We've got seasoned people on here. What do you see using Zoom and what we can do in this industry with Zoom technology?
I'll tell you something. I would have just stayed with little individual counseling here and there with friends and people that come to talk to me and want to sit and have a cup of coffee and tell me their problems. I think I was maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. I was out on my back porch having a cigar, and I looked up to heaven and I said, am I through? Hey, big guy, am I through? I haven't been on stage for 2 years. Am I through? It was about, maybe 2 or 3 weeks later, I get a call to do this thing called Zoom. I didn't know if they were trying to sell brooms or Zoom. It made no sense to me. What is this stuff? I'm the least technical guy you're ever going to meet. But my wife is very competent, so she said, I think you ought to do it. So I went on a call. Artie asked me to do a call, and he had 500 seats. I guess you call them seats or pictures, 500 of them. And 20 minutes before the call was to start, it was packed out. And there were a lot of upset people. They couldn't get on. The very next day, I got a call from a top leader in a company saying, I need to do this with you. I want you to do one of these for my group. And I'll have 1,000 people on that call. And I thought to myself, maybe there's something to this. Let me start analyzing what's going on here. Then, I guess it was just last Monday, I was on a call with a young man that I trained in Ireland when he was 17, 18 years old, and trained him and stayed with him. And he's now president of a company. And it was, I guess, network marketing professionals or something. It was a big deal. Going to be translated into 5 languages. I did a 1 hour interview. They had, I guess, a 3-day thing or something where they had to host the speakers. Did a one hour interview. And the next day, my phone is ringing. And I'm saying to myself, wow, this Zoom thing. Then it hit me, bing, it's the future. It's right, smacking you right in the head. You know how we used to build these things? You used to get your little ditty bag with all your products or whatever, go to a hotel, rent the room, the whole people came, and you went up and blew your brains out doing a presentation. Then you sat with people for hours, most of which of them were never going to do anything. They just wanted to be entertained. And then you went home with your ditty bag, and maybe you were lucky you had 1 or 2 applications. Okay, then you're on the phone coaching your people. You're trying to motivate them. Then you have a Saturday training, and then you go back and you do it all over again. Then you have one of the people say, I want to do an in-home meeting. I'd like you to come Thursday. So you get booked out on in-home meetings. So you're working part-time? No, you're working almost every night when you get it going. That was the old days. You had to drive, you had to drive, you had to drive. Wait a minute. Now, corporate America is catching on big time to the power of Zoom. Think about it. They don't need those big buildings with all that overhead. They can afford to pay these people more money that are doing a good job at home, who are conscientious and responsible people. It's a gift. This is a network marketing gift. I mean, look what we're doing here. We can have fun, we can talk, we can train, we can visit. It's absolutely amazing. So for as little as I know about technology, I'll put my money on Zoom. It's the future. It's my future. Okay, I don't jump up and down on stage. I have a cane. I can hardly walk from here to a cup of coffee. But I'll tell you one thing, the Derby is still cooking. This thing is still cooking good. So I figured, hey, I guess God answered my prayer, huh? Yeah, I got something for you to do. It's called Zoom. Yeah, it is. It's the technology that is not only now. You watch what happens. The future is here, and we have it at a perfect time. You want to stay home? Yeah, I'll give you something to do. Build a business. We'll talk about that a little later.
You know, George, I love and I am so thankful for Zoom, just so that we can see you here tonight and share you with so many people that never had the good fortune of seeing you train on a stage. And, you know, one of the things that I know I speak on behalf of the leaders who've been around, the Profile of a Champion, I've listened to 1,000 times. I'm telling you, 1,000 times. That literally is probably one of the greatest audios I've ever had the good fortune of listening to. And, you know, you are so great at telling people what it takes to win. And maybe you could give people a little taste here tonight of just that mindset that you bring on that audio, and you bring every time you speak. But I know there's people that are hungry at 8:30 on a Friday night to say, look, we need to win for our family. You know, we're in a pandemic. The economy is questionable globally. I think if there's ever been a time for people to step up and become a leader for their family, I think that day is upon us. So I'd love for you to give them a taste of what you've been so great at doing, and that is that mindset conversation and what it takes to win.
Well, that is my fastball. Okay, I've done so many seminars over the years and so many consulting positions over the years, and my emphasis, because of my research and study for years, my passion for research and studying how the human mind functions, how thought creates, how thought and emotions connect and pitch us into a perception and then a behavior, a response. Those over time become habits. Those habits and that line that I just described creates the circumstances. Whose circumstances? Yours and mine. Whoa, you mean my mind is creating my reality? Well, if you start there, you start to recognize that, wait a minute, I am making perceptions of everything that's happening in my life. I'm giving my life meaning. I see something, I have a thought, I start defining what it is, then I thematically interpret what it means, and I could be off the wall wrong, but it's my picture, isn't it? So if it's wrong, I'm going to own it And pretty soon I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to start acting in accordance with thoughts that won't get me anywhere. Well, you may know that from your research, but then how did it move over to apply to network marketing? I saw so many ill-informed people using those God-given brains in such destructive, counterproductive ways. I said, I'm going to bring this forward. If we're not building people, we're a fraud. If we have the ability to build people, not only in their business, but in their lives, because they go together. They go together. If you have a business and you have a family, you have a life. Well, is your life improving? Are your relationships improving? Are your thoughts improving? Are you getting away from negatives? They're so destructive. Why do negative people like negative people? Because they want to wallow in negativity. You walk into a room as a light, and they'll try to blind the light and get out of the way and criticize you. So the need for personal development became an absolute passion, because by being so much just in the classroom, you have students, they're there for a semester, they're gone. But in our business, you meet people from all over the world, from every walk of life. You meet humanity on the terms where humanity exists. And then I watch this industry bring people together that normally you wouldn't see together. I've seen relationships develop, marriages develop, okay, friendships develop, fun develop. I mean, I'm going, this is an absolutely beautiful community when it's done right. So you build your business and you build your group by you becoming the best human being you can become to deserve to be a leader. See, people know truth, no matter what they're saying, no matter how they hide. Okay, the Creator gave us instinct for right and wrong. We go ahead and play around make it convenient until someday we're going to be saints. I don't know, but we delay. We often delay. And what we need to recognize is that human beings need to be nurtured. And I'll tell you who they believe. They will believe who tells them the truth. People read very well. They know if your motives are all self-serving and you're just asking them a question to see how much money you can make. How about asking questions about how can I help you build your income? What do you think is lacking right now that I can help you with? Maybe I have a book to recommend. Maybe I have a cassette to recommend. You say Profile of a Champion. I'm going to tell you something. I myself gave that talk, I don't know, 20 some years ago. When I feel I'm getting off track, if I feel I'm getting a little bit away from my own teachings, I throw that tape in and allow it to teach me all over again. And I can't believe it's me talking. Okay, I go, well, God, you must have been with me that day because I'm on fire. and so it's that thing is the white Christmas of motivational talks, is what somebody wrote one time in a comment, you know. And then you take things like some of the research I did on the human mind and emotions. That 2-cassette program is deadly. How the mind works, how emotions work. But you want to know what? People don't know they need that. There's the foundation of becoming your star, your own star. If you don't understand how it all goes together, then you don't know how to act. You'll be the same old routine, stuck and antiquated thoughts that are not taking you where you say you want to go. You got to have alignment. There has to be alignment. What I say I want, how do I have to think and behave in order to get there? Those two have to be in alignment. So that gets me to the biggest problem we have, and that's self-image. I want you to hear me closely on this. Self-image will prescribe the limits of your possibilities in life. You will become the kind of person you really think at a core level you are. You will live out your self-belief limitations. You will actually manifest what you hold in your self-image. There is no escape. There's only a reevaluation to see how it was constructed, invalidate it with new thought and new interpretations, and go forward. And the self-image, it is probably the most difficult thing for people to really work with. And one of the things in the seminars, deep seminars, and I did with some psychiatrists and some very, very talented people, and one of the things we came away with, and it was almost like unworkable, and it was this word, undeserving. There is such an unconscious, hidden notion of undeserving in the core of all too many people. They really don't think they deserve to be great. They don't really think they could ever be smart. They don't really think they have talents or gifts. They have bought into self-imposed limitations or the opinions of others about their limitations, no matter where they came from. They're invalid. You're the only one that can make them valid, not their opinions, you. Why don't you reassess? Why don't you look? I had a young man come to me and he was complaining about how his father didn't love him. And I said, how did you come to that? Well, he never told me, and he was always kind of rough with me and this and that. And he said, yeah. And I says, well, do you have an experience that you were convinced at that? And he said something at one time. And I said, well, I'm going to give you something else to look at. If you were your father, and I want you to hear me, if you were your father at that point in his life, with whatever was going on in his spirit and mind, you would have done exactly what he did. So your interpretation could be wrong. Your father probably really did love you. He lacked the capacity to show it to you the way you thought it should be shown to you. Could that be part of the problem? You set up an expectation of how dad has to be with you, and you never gave him any room to wrestle with his own problems, love you in spite of them, but not be able to be effusive or expressive. You never gave him that breathing room. You ought to go ahead and forgive yourself and forgive your dad and know that he loves you, and then get on with life, because that crutch is gone, man. That crutch, don't ever talk to me about it again. How many people blame everything and everybody else but themselves for their failings? When you were born, you forgot your own magnificence for the most part. God don't create junk. In order for you and I to be here, we have a spark of divinity in us at the beginning, or we wouldn't be here. It's called spirit or soul. Now, what are you doing to take care of that? Because that's where life really lives. And in that space, there's love, there's compassion, there's surrender, there's service, there's all the things that if applied in business like network marketing, you can have anything you want eventually. Just learn to stay with it. The strongest word I teach people about this industry is the word surrender. Stuff happens. So you lose your vision because you don't have the product you want? Come on. Oh, I'm going to go from here to there because over there smells better than over here. Do you know how many people in our organization did that? Big leaders. Now they're crawling back, wanting to get back in the business 2 and 3 years later, and they were on top and got lost in their own egos. They became the issue. Some people can't handle success. They're too much into themselves. Always have the servant's mentality. Every human being deserves your smile, your handshake, your pat on the back, everybody. Whoa. Well, we got the self-image, and we have the way we think. Okay? If I said to you, there's a pencil on the table, would you pick it up? Now take that, it went into your brain. If you didn't have the thought, pick it up. If you didn't have that thought, which automatically told a whole series of sophisticated nerves and muscles exactly how to do it. Automatic, huh? Where? From a thought. If you didn't have the thought, you'd never pick up the pencil. Now, positive and negative. People go, oh, I don't believe in that positive living stuff. Somebody asked me one time, what do you do when those people come up to you and say, oh, George, I kind of like what you said, but I just don't believe in that positive thinking stuff. And I look at them and I say, sir, if you'll permit me to be honest with you, can I? He says, yeah, you're showing it right now. Your life is not going where you want it to go. You want to be honest with me? You're frustrated. Maybe there's something here that you ought to look deeper at before you toss it out. You see, there's this magnetic force in life. It works in the brain and in thoughts as well. I think a negative thought. Oh, wait a minute. What did you say, George? Here's what I said. The thinker thinks and the prover proves. What does the prover prove? The prover proves what the thinker thinks. Oh, I'm locked in. So if I think negative thoughts, I'm going to prove them true. I have to. And if I'm going to think positive thoughts, I'm going to give it a chance to be positive regardless of what it looks like or outcomes. Oh, we don't have any patience. We don't have any patience. If we only anchored ourselves and said, this is a journey I'm taking. Why? Because I've seen so many people change their lives and fortunes completely in this industry. And they put their shoes on the same way I do. And they pull their pants up the same way, or they put their dress or skirt on the same way I do. And they can do it. Well, I guess there's so much proof of what can happen that its evidence is overwhelming. The question is, what part do you want in it? Because if you think you got a complete straight path to success, here's what I tell people who have quick success, okay? If at first you do succeed, please try to hide your astonishment. For 90% of the people, it's a learn, relearn. Let's get in there. Let's hang around with the right people. Let's change our thinking. Let's become a light in the world of possibility for my family and others that know me. Whoa, that sounds pretty exciting to me. And all I need to do is make myself available to good organizations that believe that way and teach that way. You see, I'm a firm believer that, boy, you could build teams. All we did, I think in our total career, I don't even know if we sponsored 20 to 25 people first line. But boy, once we got one, we trained them. And they had to read my stuff. And they had to listen to my tapes. Why? Because it's proven stuff. I want them to have a feel for what they need to be working on and give them the insights that will motivate them to say, I want to drink from this fountain. If we leave it to ourselves, okay, we're being fools. Be humble, learn, get good. You become the master by learning from other masters. There's no other way. I didn't get to know what I know by sitting and wondering what my life was going to be if I just sat on a couch and watched television or stuck my nose in a phone and never took it up even when the kids are around, or can't wait to pick it up to see how the world is going and the one around me is falling apart. No. Goals. Well, why do you need goals? You need goals because it's an absolute command of your unconscious mind in order to work for you. You are designed, all of us are designed as goal-striving mechanisms. We're rather mechanical, okay? We're like machines in a certain way. But if I don't give a direct, explicit instruction to what I want, I will become a wandering generality. What I'll do is when I feel like it, I'll maybe make a phone call. If I want to go to the meeting instead of watching the ball game, tonight it's a big game, I'll go next week. All of those little errors in judgment over time will take you out. Sorry. You want to know how to win? You want to know how to win? You got to be the example for everybody you bring in. So you set that priorities, goals. You need a clear intention. You got to be a commander with your own intentions. You call your mind to attention like a Marine Corps sergeant waking up the troops in the morning. Attention! That's my mind. I'm on focus. I have an intention, and I'm going to stay with it. I always carry a little pad with me, a little small pad. And I have ideas or things to think about. I got it right there. I carry, Eloise will tell you, I carry those things with me all the time because my mind is constant. How can I do this? Or, oh, I can do that for this one. Or, oh, I need to place a call here. I have these little pages. Oh, I have to go to the store. I've got to get some food. In the same pad, just flip a page and continue. So your life is in order so that you can know what it is you want to go. So once you set a goal, don't be lukewarm. Lukewarm lacks clear intention and will lack power to get you through. Lukewarm don't work. Lukewarm is the guy who says, I'll give it a try. That one will never make it because in the language, I'll give it a try, already has a built-in exit strategy. So easy for me to say, well, I tried. It's not for me. How about that? Not my cup of tea. Well, you're not drinking very expensive tea, are you? No, what is your cup of tea? You got to see through people. You got to love them anyway, but no, come on. Here comes the phony. Here comes the one that's going to be a slickster. Oh, it sounds good, looks good, proves to be no good. You got to be okay with that. People quitting, people bad-mouthing your company. The only one that needs to be convinced is me. It's you. And I'm telling you, you got the best deal out there. And I don't make any money, okay, telling you this. Nobody's paying me to endorse this. It's coming from my heart, coming from my direct experience, of which is much deeper than most of you have had. I've been with these guys. I've been with these owners many, many, many times. I've sat at COC meetings watching some people get too big for their shoes, the little sidebar conversations of how the company ought to be doing this, and they ought to be doing that, and they ought to be doing this. They don't have a clue. You have to be immune to that kind of stuff. So, goals. Motivation. Oh, motivation is really something. See, motivation is an emotion. Did you hear me? It's an emotion. Well, emotions have intensities, levels of intensity, don't they? So does motivation always sustain itself at a peak level? Never. No. Motivation is understood by achievers to be quite different than the average person. Never wait to feel motivated to do what's required. Never wait. You will lose. You've got to have a discipline of surrender to what needs to be done. Hear that power word? Surrender to what needs to be done. If you don't have resistance to something, it has the ability to just kind of flow by you. You give it life and power against you when you concentrate on it. There goes your mind again. Who took you to that place of no energy, lethargy? What thoughts did you have that brought you there? Oh my God, if I have to keep thinking about this, I am recognizing I do need to analyze how I think. Because it has to be my thoughts. No one else's thoughts is doing this. It has to be the decisions and the interpretations I make with my brain from what I see. I'll give you an illustration. We ran a test, how people observe. And we had a frame of activity, like say your screen. And in there was all sorts of things happening. And the class had to go by and had 5 seconds to turn their head when they got in front of that to observe what was going on. 5 seconds and then turn away and walk. Next. There were not 2 people that saw the same thing. A little bit here, a little bit there. Most important for this one was that, for this one was that. So who's making up reality? Was it what we were observing, which is a constant? It was what it was. There was no lacking objectivity. It was what it was. But who interpreted what it was and whose brain did the interpretation? So once you know you're making up your own reality, you got a good start on personal development, a really good start. Now you need training. Now you need to get your mind right and understand the techniques and understand the traps and understand how you build it. That takes study, I'm sorry. Most of the people are very academically lazy. They don't read the good books, okay? You give them a cassette tape, they listen to half of it and they talk for the next 10 minutes and get back on it and think they heard it. I was on my yacht a week ago, and I had some high-powered people, doctors, lawyers, business owners, and we were having a little cocktail party in the gathering. And this one doctor had something pretty important to say to us. So he asked everybody, hey, I got something really important I think would be benefit to everybody. Now remember who's in this circle, all highly successful, many millionaires, professionals, okay? As he started to deliver his message, I noticed something that we humans almost always do until we wake up. We disrespect the communicator. They start making funny comments, inserting themselves into the conversation. Oh, it reminds me of my wife. Who cares about your wife? I want to hear what this man is saying. Hey, remember that? Joey, remember we talked about that last week? Remember what? Okay, so here's all these sidebar conversations coming at this doctor sincerely trying to communicate with us. So when it ended, they turned to me and he said, George, what do you think about that? I said, I don't think anything about what you're saying, but I think a lot about how we conducted ourselves. He says, what? I says, we are pathetic listeners. Everything's more important. We need to be heard. We want to interject ourselves rudely while another is giving a conversation that could be helpful for all. As you started to clown around about your wife, you had something to say to your buddy across the table. I said, and you're asking me to give you some input? I said, I don't teach to people like that. I said, I love you all. Have another drink, smoke a cigar. Okay, leave me out of this. Well, you know what? I got some phone calls. I got some phone calls from pretty capable people saying, George, that was amazing. You know, I realized I do that. And I realize now how improper and how rude it is. And I could have learned something and I passed on the opportunity being an ego jerk. See, that's self-awareness. That can cause you to make corrections. But until you're truthful with who you are and how you behave and what you do, you'll never find out what you need. You want peace, you want harmony, you want love, you want prosperity, you want an enjoyable life, you want great relationships. It's all here. Reach out. You'll find somebody to hold your hand, to encourage you, to put their arm around you, to tell you you're worth something, and then you go about proving it. Every time I hear a success story of someone in network marketing, I mean, I am so pumped up because I know what that person is and had to become to get there. And then I want to make sure they know how to behave when they're stars to stay there. So faith, oh yeah, I'm a big believer in faith. What else do we have? You know, as I got off the stage and I had more time to leisurely rusticate in the confines of my own mind, I could sit out in my yacht and look up at the sky and the clouds and watch beautiful sunsets, watch the water, the different way it works, the fish jumping. And I'm going to myself, I look up and I go, wow, you gave us all of this and we are making such a mess of it. Please help us. Please, you know, let's get back on track here, because without a spiritual foundation, everything materially will crumble. Our salvation as a nation and as a people is not in who gets in office. It's who gets inside our hearts to change the way we behave toward each other. There's where the salvation is, people to people. You look at our company, you look at our business, interracial. Are you kidding? We've got every race you can think of, and we all are loving each other. What an example. What an example. You don't see anything but a beautiful human being across from you. Go ahead and find that someplace else. The politicians should come in and watch what we do for race relations. They might learn something. It's accepting, it's loving, it's caring, it's being with, and authentically being with. I don't know. I think keep your faith, stay the course. You got a winner. ACN is a winner. Don't let it get out of your scopes. God bless you. Anything else I could do for you?
George, you are an amazing man. And on behalf of everybody here tonight, we are so honored to have you speak, and you speak to our souls. And that was something that has always resonated with me from the day that I got a chance to hear you sitting in the bleachers way at the top and hearing you speak just like you are here tonight. And, you know, George, if there's any last piece of advice you could give us, you know, we're all hungry. We're all wanting, you know, nobody left. We're all still here. If there's any last piece of advice, we could listen to you all night, and I don't want to do that to you, but if there's anything else you'd love to share with us about what it takes to win, we're all ears right now.
Well, the thing I would do is to stress enthusiasm in your personality. Enthusiasm is the most effective and least expensive cosmetic in the world. When a person has a smile on their face and purity in their heart, they are a light. You can almost spot them in a supermarket. You can see people walk, the way they walk, the way they pick up things, the way their faces and the lines in their faces. You can almost tell the anguish, the pain, the distrust, the hatred, the bitterness. And every once in a while, someone walks in with this smile, effervescent smile, and just a kind of a pure, kind of a attractiveness. It's magnetic. It's arduous. It will draw people to you. Enthusiasm. So I ask all of you to get enthusiastic about your business and about your challenges. Get enthusiastic about them. Become the beacon of possibility for all of the people who believe and trust in you. And watch it change. Put that smile on your face, and then do that dance that I saw. I used to be a pretty good dancer. Okay.
George, thank you so much for being you. We're gonna put your book up here when you're done, just to let people know how they can take them, take you home with them and get a chance to be in that brain anytime that they want, and be an opportunity to listen to some of those audios that I've had the good fortune to listen to. And I know on behalf of my brother Mike and all of the people that are on here, we just want to let you know how much we love you, how much we appreciate you. And we're going to take a piece of you with us everywhere we go, George. And just know that that's always going to be something that you can know this team will continue to do. So we're going to make you proud, George.
Well, thank you so much. I love all of you. You know that. And I love ACN.
And ACN loves you, George.
Yeah.
Let's give George a round of applause, everybody. Let's thank him for being on here tonight. Thank you so much, George, for being here with all of us.
God bless.
God bless you. Wow, guys. I mean, you can see why, as I remember the first day I heard George speak, and I thought to myself, if this man signed up for ACN, he can do anything he wants to do. I was limited, right? I was limited on what I could do, but he could do anything he wanted to do. And if he filled that same independent representative agreement that I filled out, I didn't need to do any more research. I said, if it's good enough for this man, it is definitely good enough for me. And I'm sure all of you can see why I felt that way, just taking a little piece of his wisdom here tonight and allowing us to benefit. And Mike, I don't know if there's something you want to add here, but I'd love for you to say a word or two.
George, just thank you. Appreciate you more than you ever know. I mean, I've listened to your audios thousands of times. I've read this book, Straight Talk. I got bookmarks in it. You've been such a great inspiration to us, such a great example. And just thank you again for taking your precious time to be with all of us tonight. Really appreciate you and just excited about the future. So thank you. Pat, I'll throw it back to you. Thank you, George.
Guys, I know there's some of you here tonight that are probably ready to book another Zoom. You know what I mean? You're probably, I'm sure there's some of you here tonight realizing after listening to George, you haven't gave it all. You've been playing this, 50%, in some cases, maybe 20%. And hopefully tonight, decisions were made. Hopefully tonight, you're ready to make your family proud and to make the world proud. So I encourage you to book another Zoom. I encourage you now to text your leader, let your leader know you made a decision. You know, I'd love to get texts from all of you saying, I've made a decision tonight, that I'm going to put my line in the sand, that I'm going to be on that stage the day that we can be together again. My story is going to be told. My family is going to be behind me on that stage while I share what I've been able to do. So number one, I encourage you to do that. I hope you're taking action now. I hope you're not, waiting another minute to say, look, put me down for Sunday. I'm going to do something on Monday. I'm going to do something on Saturday afternoon. Your leaders are waiting to work with you. We're just looking for the people to work with. We're looking for the ones that are ready to make that decision. Second of which is, Melissa, can you put up George's slide for everybody? Because I know people are going to want to take a piece of George home with them. And, George got an unbelievable opportunity. So you can go to George's website, all that information here in front of you, George, Zalucki.com. He's got a 2020 Business Builder Package #1. I would highly recommend making sure you do have this. This is going to be something that, as Mike and I have mentioned, we've listened to it thousands and thousands of times. I don't need to listen to anyone else, because so many people in the motivational, inspirational teaching space have never done it. Here's an individual that went out and built one of the biggest organizations in the history of network marketing, and now wants to teach you what he knows, not just from an educational perspective, but from an experience perspective. And so make sure you order that, George. We're going to hopefully blow your website up. There's a coupon for all of you there, as you can see. Use the coupon code to get free shipping, so that all of you guys can benefit from taking this book home and taking his audios home, and really being able to grow as a human being. And this is the first step of growth, is what you put in your head. If you want great things to come out of your mouth, what are you putting in your head? And here's an opportunity to have gold in all of our heads here tonight. Also, we're on the Facebook, as you probably saw. We're streaming live. ACN Rockstar team. We encourage you to leave a comment. If this was a moving night for you, if there's some decisions that were being made, what I find is sometimes saying things publicly make them come true. I love what George talks about in goals, and here's an opportunity to make some of those goals here this evening. And we have a special bonus for the end of the month. So anybody we get in between now and the end of midnight on Monday the 31st, they can take advantage of the August bonus. Let people know that there's an opportunity for them to make additional money, and they can benefit from everything that ACN has to offer. And for those of you that want to stick around here tonight, we're going to open up the call, and we're going to let you share. If there's something that you want to share here, we're a community of people that would love to be able to do anything we can to help you. So if any of you guys have something you'd like to share here tonight, we'd love you to be able to do so. If you just want to unmute yourself and introduce yourself and tell us what you got out of tonight, I think we'd all benefit from that as well.
Hi, Dorothy Tisdale, Rochester, New York. Woo! Let me tell you, George, that was awesome. You touched my soul, my spirit, because let me tell you, I was on the verge of being one of those knuckleheads walking out. Instead of contacting, my head, my trainer, my leader, I can't even, Mr. Wilson, and not giving myself a chance, because I am a go-getter, even though I am an introvert, but you would never know it because I'm a teacher. So I can't choose, I can't be an introvert. I have to be able to exert myself. But what you said tonight just helped to ignite me even more. And I want to say thank you. And I have to have that faith in myself that I can do it. I know I can do it. And I just have to take those no's that I'm getting and turn them into yeses. And thank you so very much. And Melissa, girl, you had me crying over here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome.
No, he's got calls coming in.
Anybody else like to talk?
Mr. Mazer,
Oh, Fred.
Second emotion, Dorothy. I hear you, girl. Yeah, very, very powerful, Mr. George. Yeah, I can't wait to get that builder package, because that was very, very informative. Yeah, I feel it. I really do. I really
Yes,
appreciate it. I'm glad I was on here tonight.
I am
Thank you
too.
very much.
Yes. And I need the code for the book so I can place my order.
And Mr. George, this is my like 16th time listening to you. And I know I was invited by Melissa, and I appreciate you, Melissa, for inviting me on the call. I really appreciate it. And Mr. George, I'm telling you, you have put such a difference in my life. I've been listening to you. Everything that you've put out there, I've listened to it. Now you have this book, and as soon as I get off this, I'll be getting it. You have changed me with my organization when you said you have to love on your people. Love on your people. And that's what I've been doing. The whole thing that I've been doing for the past 10 years, I've changed because of the things that you put in my head. And I thank you for that, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you.
George, my name's Michael Eric. I'm upstate New York, and I can't tell you how many times I've been driving to trainings and stuff. Just rode to, RVP, rode back to RVP and Profile of a Champion, and every single person that I recruited, I made them listen to it. Actually, they were forced to listen to it in the car on the way to training, and you're a big part of my success. So thank you for what you did tonight for the whole entire Rockstar system and everybody on this call. So very moving. Thank you.
Hey, George, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart and my soul. That was very profound, very touching from every angle and every cylinder. Like, I wish in our reality, us as a nation, we have to come together as one in unity. And that's what you was basically saying. That at the same amount of time, you was elaborating that it literally starts from your thoughts. And that's the God honest truth, because you start from your thoughts and then it ends up to your destiny. But wow. It was unrealistic. Like, I'm like, I'm just thanking from the bottom of my heart, my soul, my spirit. It was powerful, impacting. Wow. Thank you very much. Truly appreciate it.
Mr. George, this is Nikki here in Houston. And when you said motivation is an emotion, like, I had to write that down, because sometimes it's hard to find motivation. But if you feel it instead of find it, is something that's way more powerful, and nobody can give you that motivation. You have to feel it. And when I just had to write it down. It was one of the most powerful things you said. And I just really appreciate you just coming on and sharing with us tonight. It was just powerful. I took so many notes, but that motivation is emotion. I always thought it was, I don't know what I thought motivation was. I thought it was something that you found from someone else, but you find it within yourself, and you find it within something that you're passionate about. So that was outstanding, and I just appreciate you being here. Thank you so very much for just sharing your wisdom and your knowledge with us. We appreciate it here in Houston, and my whole team appreciates it.
Hi, George. Hello?
You're on.
Hi, George. Hi, Tosi from the UK. It's actually just about half two at the moment in the UK. I'm still in the office, just looking at ACN itself. I mean, to be honest with you, I'm so happy I actually stayed up this late, because this is like gold, to be honest with you. It's really gold information. I felt like I was in the church service throughout the whole time. I'm very happy. So thank you very much for actually reminding me of why I actually decided to do ACN in the first place. Okay. And I believe my team are going to be exploding this month, thanks to you and the information you've given us today. So once again, from the UK, thank you very much, George.
George, thank you so much. It's Jill and Jeff from Connecticut. I just wanted to say that, yes, to echo the gentleman before, it was a religious experience for me and for Jeff, and to thank you to Mike and Pat for producing such a spectacular evening. So thank you for spending your time and imparting your wisdom, and we're eternally grateful to all of you gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Hey, George, thank you so much for giving us your wisdom and your insights and just this adept knowledge of all that you have done already, your story and your journey. Now that is that you have given to us to be a part of our journey. And you said something that was so profound for me personally, especially when I think about my team. And you said, you know what, never wait for motivation to do what is required, or you're going to lose. And that's so profound, because sometimes, you know, we're waiting until we feel good or we're in the right mood. And, you know, we should never wait for motivation to do what is required. And, you know, the key is to knowing what is required here to win at and be a real champion, and just going out to do that. So really appreciate you. I know my team appreciate you a lot. And, you know, can't wait to impart these information that you gave to us this evening, and to take our business to the next level, but more so to take our lives to the next level. So thank you so much. Appreciate you so much, and appreciate you, Mr. Mazer, for putting this together. Thank you.
Mr. Zalucki. Go ahead. There was a female voice. I'll let you go first, please.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you. This is Elena. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. George, I've heard you many times, but tonight was truly, truly, I surrendered to my goals, to my faith. I want to thank Michael and Pat from the bottom of my heart for putting such a system, and your dedication, your love to your team. You just rock, and I love you, and I am so grateful and blessed that God has put you in my path of life. Thank you, George. Thank you so much. And thank you, Rockstars. I love you, and I will be eternally thankful, and we'll never forget this night. Thank you.
Awesome. 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 Mr. Zalucki, from someone who's been around a long time and was actually there to see you get promoted as the first SVP in ACN to today, and hearing you speak is just powerful. And you're always just dropping wisdom. It's like you sweat beads of wisdom. And to hear you talk about, you know, just being that example and being loved. And that's what we need more. We need to be loved, and we need to smile. And we need to not worry about the small things and just focus on the main thing, which is the main thing of being a blessing and helping other people. So thank you so much for that, man. I just wish I could have got the whole world on this, because they needed to hear that, and it's just powerful. And I appreciate you, and I hope one day that others will look at me the same way we look at you. You are my hero for the example you have exemplified. And I always remember, as I've watched others come and go, and I've always said to myself, well, the main guy's still here, so the others can go, but if he's still here, there must be something here. And so I've always kept it in my mind when I've seen you and watched how you operate and know your history. So you're a shining example of a champion, and I hope one day I can exude the same type of leadership and bless people's lives the way that you have. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate you.
Hello, can you hear me?
You can.
Yes. What amazing. I'm blown away. This will change my life. To hear him speak will definitely change my life. I love the Lord, and I serve the Lord. To hear the magnitude of his faith and what he poured out into my spirit, I felt that I can go further, that I can go higher. And what I'm doing, I'm a go-getter. I'm a go-getter. But that was just a boost of like a electric boost to my spirit. And I'm just blown away. I'm definitely going to be ordering, after I go off, I'm definitely going to be ordering this, because I need to hear more and to be able to listen to this, to listen to him, to George, over and over, telling you what lesson to the world. A gentleman just the world needed to hear what we just heard and what we just experienced. It's amazing. I'm happy right now, and I'm just, it's just amazing what I just heard. And thank you so much for the major brothers putting this together to introduce to some of me that has never heard George before, but truly a blessing. And thank you so much.
Hi guys, this is Fatima from Miami. I would like to thank George for his advices, his time, and we really appreciate it. Mike and Patrick, thank you again for your help always. We thank you for your time and your help always, your support. Would like to send my congratulations to Jamila. She's the best, everybody knows. She is my mentor, and I'm proud of her. On behalf of all the Moroccan in the group and out there, I mean, I wanted to say, go for it. We support in you, and we appreciate you, and we thank you for everything. You guys are amazing. All of you, thank you again, and good luck for everybody, and I love you all, and talk to you soon.
George, what you said was George, what you said was so powerful. I truly wish that you were running for president, because your message is something that the whole world definitely needs to hear. I will never forget this evening. And thank you so much, Pat and Mike, for always just coming through for us and just stepping up and just blessing us with all this information to help us to be better people. Just truly thank you. And congratulations to you, Melissa.
I'd like to thank Monica Bernardino. Monica actually put this together with Eloise Zalucki. So Patrick and I had nothing to do with this. This was Monica Bernardino and Eloise. Thank you guys. Appreciate all you do, and appreciate you, George.
George, I just wanted to say thank you. There were a couple of things that resonated with me, what you said. I've been doing the hokey pokey the past couple of months. And I really liked what you talked about with the self-image. And you said, you know, without goals, you're a wandering generality. Woo, that hit me. And also what you talked about, the thinker thinks and the prover proves. So whatever we think, we actually prove. And those two things just gave me a nice, loving, gentle kick in the behind. And I don't want to be lukewarm anymore. So thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, George. It's Peter Walton from Miami Beach, Florida. And I really resonated with the motivation as an emotion. When Melissa Street got promoted, Anna Laser got promoted, I watched someone, Renata Cruz team, go from 40 points to all of a sudden 100 points. On that Wednesday, I called each and every one of those people. And because of that, I wanted to have someone actually come to my team meeting and just pump wisdom into us. And that was Camille, Rob. And that was Wednesday. And I was motivated. And I was so nervous this morning. I almost want to cancel it because I'm like, no, I can't do this. But I did it. And then she came on and inspired my team. It's not a huge team, but it's a team. And now we saw this wonderful presentation tonight. So thank you so much.
Okay, this is Angie from New York. I just want to say, George, just thank you for taking out the time for pouring into us. And, you know, this message was right on time. You know, not only did I need to hear that, but I just listened from everyone else's comments. Everyone needed to hear that. But, you know, just like you said, tonight, not even tonight, right now, I make the decision. So I just want to say thank you for those words of wisdom. So I'm going to take that with me in my ACN journey and just appreciate this whole organization as a whole, believing in not just myself, but a lot of people and my team. So just thank you so much. And tonight, I make the decision. Thank you.
Can you hear me, everyone? I am Sheila Hendricks, and this evening has been so incredible. I am so grateful for this organization, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Like, this is so incredible. Like, Mr. Zalucki, my goodness gracious, all leaders must lead by example or they don't deserve to lead. That is incredibly powerful. And for me, it resonated when everyone on my team or everyone who I encounter, I want to make sure that they know that I care about them and it's not about what they can do for me. And so I'm going to get your book. Thank you, Pat and Mike, and everyone who put this together. Congratulations again, Melissa. This was an incredible evening. Thank you. I'm glad that I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Zalucki. My name is Barvinia Wooten, and I'm out of the Virginia market. And I just want to say thank you so much. I got your last 2 CDs by the person who sponsored me into the business. And I've been listening to those CDs like regularly. And the fact that I was now able to put that information together with your face. And just like the speaker said before, I like the fact of having to coach people to win. I'm a basketball coach by profession, and I know how important it is to be a leader by example, but you just truly inspired me tonight. I will never be the same person tonight. I like the thought of personal development. I like the fact that we have to listen to those in front of us that are leaders that have done it, because there's no need to create the wheel when it's already been created. So I just want to say thank you again for the motivation. I have set my date to become regional director as well. I'm going to stick to that date, and I'm going to make sure that when I do, hopefully I can let you know. But again, thank you so much for this opportunity. You poured into my spirit. You don't know how much you've touched me, and I will continue to go out there to help other people win as well. I want to thank the individuals that put this on, the Mazes, and also to my mentors, Jeff and Melissa Street. And again, congratulations, Melissa. Thank you so much.
One last time, make sure you guys take a screenshot of this. There's also free shipping 2020 is the coupon. Free ship 2020. Free ship 2020 is the coupon to get no shipping cost for you. So free SHIP 2020. And thank you, everybody. Thank you, guys. I love the ones that stick around to the very end. I will leave you with my resignation. One thing that resonated with me when I heard George numerous times, every national convention. I remember I was in ET, I'll never forget this, and I was struggling and I was upset. And I was like, why aren't I further ahead? And you know what I mean? Why aren't I this and why aren't I that? And George said on stage, submit to your purpose. And the day that I submitted to my purpose, and that purpose was to be the senior vice president in ACN. And when I submitted to it, it just became. I no longer had anxiety. I had no longer cares of who came and who went, who said yes and who said no. I submitted to the purpose. And my purpose was to be on that stage. And I want to thank George for all that he does and continues to do, and for every one of you. And, you know, congratulations to you. It was a special team. We're going to put 20,000 reps a month. You can write that down. And you heard George when he said, what about Zoom? And he said, this is unbelievable. And I hope you really understand the power of what we got our hands on with Zoom and how you need to master Zoom, and you need to bring that discipline to the table with Zoom, and your voice will be heard around the world. So Mike, I don't know if I missed anything. I probably missed a million things, but I'll turn it over to you.
Oh, guys, first of all, I'm proud of each and every one of you. You know, you guys just being on this call says a lot about you. I mean, we're just humbled to be in business with you. And you know what? One of the biggest gifts you can give a new IBO is one of George's books. You know, that book will change my life. It changed Patrick's lives. It changed a lot of lives. So make sure that you read it. I was never a reader. I took 2 high schools to get out of high school. I failed out of college, but I'll tell you what, I read that book over and over again. And that book taught me more about this industry and how to become a better human being than anything that I've ever read. So guys, I just encourage you to reach out, grab it, give it to your people, get your people on it, read a chapter a week with them, and just grow with them. And guys, we're going to grow to something. We're going to build the biggest organization in this industry globally, 20,000 reps a month, and we're going to do it with the individuals on this line. So love each and every one of you, excited. And Pat, I'll throw it back to you.
We have a very special customer training on Sunday that I want to make sure you guys know about. This is going to be Sunday, August 30th. It's going to be done with Franco LaFranco. He is a master at customer acquisition, one of the biggest customer producers in the entire ACN global world. And he's putting on a very, very special training on customers. So make sure you write it down. I know sometimes people ask, how do I get more customers? How do I go to 75 points, 100 points? How do I help my people get customers? Well, training. And this is part of your journey on the way to success is training. And if you want to get more customers and you want to help your people get more customers, make sure you're on this event. And you'll see the code at the bottom, 863-448-122. Write that down. I love, if you write it down, it becomes. So make sure you write that down, 863-448-122. Be on that on Sunday and get an opportunity to get poured into when it comes to getting lots and lots of customers. So thank you, everybody. This concludes the event, the historical event here for the Rockstar team. And let's all unmute ourselves so we can all say good night together.
Good
And
night.
let's see that little dance on the way out, everybody.
Congratulations, everybody.
Bye.
Night, everybody.
Bye.
Everybody.